I was originally gonna make a video like this later, but then I was like, nah. Alongside Ruby, Oscar is one of the more harder characters to examine in regards to character growth. Like, he's had focus, but the aspects specific to his character and his arc haven't really been in the forefront. And while we've seen dealing with alter egos and inner selves before, we have to remember where Officer comes from and how certain qualities of his have stayed throughout since way back in Volume 4.
We just have to press on and
How can you be so confident?
Like, even though I've talked about the dojo scene a lot, and I mean a lot, most of it is because it's a really big turning point for Oscar. And yeah, even though I wish it was done in a better volume, I still think it's pretty good here. Because like, even though Oscar's
Victim of circumstance!
there's more to it, as he is indirectly responsible for tipping Oscar over the deep end by making implication that they need to try harder. Not really talking about the stuff like dying or other people dying. And for Oscar, who's never had the experience of being like in like the hunter like mindset for like a prolonged period of time, this is terrifying, and again like challenges his like slow paced attitude. And now with the fact that he's becoming like Ospin, it gives like the main conflict. Like, even though the merge is one thing, the main conflict is what the merge factors into, which is like the whole extreme of how much he's going to have to force himself. Nevertheless, he's forced to face a major consequence of his behavior. Like, because if he doesn't manage to figure out a way to get himself under control, other people will be hurt. But at the same time, it shows us what Oscar and even Ruby offers each other. Ruby identifies what set Oscar off, and thus he takes responsibility for it. And it shows how Ruby is, by being scarily morally assertive, can be the only person who can really be proactive with others regarding to their own dress.
I felt like I was actually part of the team.
I don't blame you. Honestly, I think you're doing just fine on your own.
Oscar and Ospin have a nice heart-to-heart, and Ospin even reassures him that he's fine the way he is, and it ties into the larger, or at least possible larger theme of his character arc, involving how he has to learn to find better ways to channel the qualities he already has to close the gap between, or so I say, ease him into the merge, rather than forcing himself into someone more withdrawn, which is obviously not who he is. Yeah, Oscar is someone who will basically get into your business, but in a meaningful way. Whether it's cooking a casserole or just being very sincere, which emphasize important qualities for reaching out to more closed-off characters.